King Kamsa of Mathura lived in the shadow of a specific prophecy. His sister Devaki's eighth son was destined to end his reign. To prevent this, Kamsa imprisoned Devaki and her husband in a fortress of iron and stone. On the night of his birth, the guards fell into a deep, inexplicable sleep. The heavy doors swung open, clearing a path through dark corridors. Vasudeva carried the infant Krishna out into the storm, crossing the Yamuna River to the village of Gokul, shielding the child from the king's reach. These stories occupy a massive scale, moving from supernatural escapes to cosmic battles. Yet their persistence over thousands of years suggests they offer more than just ancient spectacle. These events are traditionally categorized as Leela, a term meaning divine play. It implies that the universe operates through a series of purposeful, creative acts. To understand these stories is to look for the patterns beneath the magic, the specific roadmap of virtues laid out for the human experience. In the village of Gokul, Krishna was known as a mischievous thief. He and his friends would frequently raid kitchens to steal makhan, or fresh butter, from the local households. His foster mother, Yashoda, would find him covered in white cream, ready to deliver a stern punishment. However, each time she looked at him, his laughter and lack of guile would stop her, turning her frustration into a smile. Yashoda's reaction highlights a specific frequency of love, one where the spontaneous joy of the child is held as more valuable than the stolen goods or the breaking of house rules. This dynamic suggests that spiritual fulfillment can stem from this kind of light-hearted, pure connection, offering an alternative to the idea that morality must always be grave or restrictive. The village eventually faced a literal poison. A multi-hooded serpent named Kalia took up residence in the Yamuna River, turning the water toxic and threatening the life of every creature in Gokul. Krishna dived into the dark water to confront the beast. He took his position on the serpent's heads, maintaining a rhythmic dance upon the thrashing hoods until the creature was subdued. Kalia serves as a representation of the paralyzing fears and toxic influences that can occupy the human mind and environment. By dancing, Krishna demonstrates a psychological shift. He achieves a rhythmic mastery over the threat, forcing the poison to retreat through an act of total fearlessness. This indicates that true courage involves the ability to stand atop our internal poisons and playfully master them, rather than being consumed by them. When Lord Indra, the deity of rain, felt his ego bruised by the villagers' lack of tribute, he retaliated by unleashing a devastating, week-long storm intended to wash the village away. Krishna responded by lifting the massive Govardhan mountain on his smallest finger, holding it steady to serve as a literal shield for every person and animal in the community. This event illustrates the principle of dharma, or righteous duty, through two contrasting uses of power. On the left, we see power used to suppress. On the right, power used to support. Indra's storm shatters against the mountain. The story defines correct action as the use of strength to lift and shelter those beneath us. Indra was forced to confront the reality of his own arrogance when faced with a strength that was purely protective and entirely grounded. Within the framework of Dharma, strength is validated only when it exists as a shield for the defenseless. The narratives culminate in the forest of Vrindavan with the Ras Leela, a synchronized nocturnal dance between Krishna and the gopis, the local cowherd women. Traditional commentaries view this not as a physical encounter, but as a representation of the highest level of spiritual alignment. Here, the small points represent the Atma, the individual soul. The central sphere is the Paramatma, the universal divine. These orbits are separate and chaotic. The dance represents the moment of total synchronization, where the individual soul finds its perfect tethered rhythm within the larger universe. These stories provide a sequence of virtues to emulate: the depth of love, the necessity of courage, and the protective duty of Dharma. It is common to view a moral life as a series of heavy burdens or joyless restrictions that one must endure. The childhood Leelas suggest the opposite. They propose that the search for truth is fundamentally a creative act, a purposeful and beautiful dance through the world.